American workplaces have a big problem, and it's getting worse. Burnout is affecting more people than ever before. According to Mercer, more than 8 in 10 employees were at risk for burnout in 2024. A key reason for this is that employees simply aren't feeling valued in a way that resonates with them. In fact, Gallup found that 75% of employees whose well-being is suffering felt unappreciated at work and are considering leaving their jobs entirely. Additionally, recent research from OnePoll found that 50% of Americans left a position because they felt unappreciated. It's clear that we're looking at and trying to combat an appreciation gap as a fundamental reason for poor well-being and vitality within the walls of today's workforce. And when it comes to entrepreneurs, according to Gallup's Wealth Index, 45% of entrepreneurs reported being stressed compared to 42% of other workers. And finally, LinkedIn says that 36% of entrepreneurs today experience burnout. And my friends, if you fall into any of these categories, today's discussion is just for you, because I had the opportunity to sit down with my friend Rob Tracy, whose professional mission is to help entrepreneurs to look good, to feel good, and to do great things. He's a personal growth strategist, business coach, and speaker, specializing in helping driven entrepreneurs break through stagnation and achieve holistic success. As the founder of Prime Performance Coaching, Rob guides his clients to put their best business and self-image forward by blending physical, emotional, and mental strategies that foster resilience, clarity, and peak performance with a focus on creating awareness and avoiding burnout. Rob empowers the clients and entrepreneurs that he works with to elevate their lives and their businesses. And he joined me this week prior to his birthday celebration in Puerto Rico to tell me more. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Rob, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program, my friend. And I'm super excited to hear how you help entrepreneurs avoid burnout and level up in life, my friend. Great to see you, and happy Wednesday to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, my friend. And I know that the heartbeat of your work helps entrepreneurs avoid stagnation and burnout, my friend. So I'm wondering if we can begin our conversation by you telling me about your work, my friend, and what makes you so fabulous.
Yeah, so I help driven entrepreneurs and individuals, I should say, who are on the verge of more, really overcome things like burnout and stagnation. and I help them look good, feel good, and do great things. And by bringing awareness to different aspects of their lives.
Absolutely. And Rob, do you think America is suffering from a fear of missing out as a symptom of why so many people are burnt out today? I'm curious to get your answer there.
I think so to a certain degree. I feel like now today, with the speed and ease of technology and being able to communicate and share words and footage and pictures all around the world, I think everybody does have some form of FOMO when they're seeing other people have success, and everyone. I feel like a lot of people in America have that competitive traits in themselves. So when they see other people succeeding, they feel like they deserve the same thing, and they go out and they continue to work hard. And it's very easy to put work ahead of ourselves, and way too many people fail to realize how often that they actually do that, and then that really leads to that burnout and getting stuck in that same position.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, I'm curious to ask you, how do you define sort of strategic life elevation? What does that mean to you to elevate your life both in your personal life and in business? What does that mean to you, my friend?
Yeah, the strategic life elevation, to me, that kind of sounds like it's working together on a plan. Because I consider myself a personal growth strategist. So working strategically, so having a plan that's been proven to show success into certain individuals. So following a plan or working together to create a more optimized plan to really bring our lives up. And when I attack things through the personal development lens, whether that's working on building personal, like our own resilience, physical and mental and emotional resilience, that helps us handle other things that come in business so that we're a little more level-headed. And there's a lot of other areas too. So like working on our communication skills, working on support systems, working on goal setting and optimizing our rules and routines. When you really take the proactive approach to follow a strategy for your personal life, that bleeds into the professional life. So when you put yourself first, then you can show up as a better individual for work.
Yeah, absolutely. And my friend, I'm also curious to ask you about the concept of entrepreneurial prosperity and resilience. How do you think those two things are interconnected?
Yeah, I think having the resilience allows you to handle the ups and downs that come with entrepreneurship. So if you lack a certain degree of resilience, it can throw you off track. And when you get thrown off track in business, it can be difficult to get back into that groove. And in order to really um, prosper from entrepreneurship and really enjoy the benefits that come along with it, you need to make sure you're in some sort of a groove, because when life is too chaotic, it makes it a lot more difficult to kind of see those stepping stones to get you to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, I know that we're both professional speakers, and I told someone recently, if you're not comfortable with rejection, you probably shouldn't be a professional speaker because people are going to tell you no all the time, right? So if you're someone who wants to be a professional speaker but doesn't take rejection, well, I'm wondering your thoughts on how speakers specifically can overcome the fear of and the ultimate feeling of rejection. What are your thoughts there?
I think really being as prepared as you can, for going out and looking for those speaking gigs. So if you're just blindly or cold calling or DMing individuals asking for speaking gigs, there's a lot of uncertainty there at play. I think the more that you prepare, the better you are to succeed and seize those opportunities. So when you on anybody who's a new speaker and they're looking for new speaking gigs and you find an opportunity, I would make sure that you're prepared and diving in, learning as much as you can about the organization, about the event, and diving in. So then when you do have your pitch, you can relate it to the situation and you can be as prepared as possible. Then also having the conversations and learning from those conversations too. So when there is, because everyone's going to have rejections, they're always there, but when you learn from the rejections and understand why you weren't the best fit, you can go back next year or to the next prospect or and so on with the new equipped learning. So as long as you learn and you take something from those no's, you can start to turn them into yeses.
Yeah, it's all about aligning yourself with your value proposition statement and solving problems, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep.
Absolutely no. My friend, I know you're the founder of Prime Performance Coaching, my friend, where you guide your clients to look good, feel good, and do great things by blending physical, mental, and emotional well-being, my friend, and strategies of resilience and clarity as well, my friend. So tell me about your endeavor, my friend, and the difference it's making as well.
It's kind of like as we were kind of alluding to earlier, the prime performance coaching, sitting down with individuals, bringing awareness to different aspects of their lives. I follow six coaching principles: building resilience and expanding the comfort zone, intentional consumption, gaining clarity and understanding of where you're trying to get to, building efficiency, communication, social support, and then really creating your luck. When we dive into those principles, we create a system and process where we can look good, feel good, and do great things. And whatever kind of industry or projects you're working on is always an opportunity to turn it from good to great.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, I know that you're on a mission to help people really bring awareness to avoiding burnout, and you use methods to empower entrepreneurs to do that and elevate their lives and their business, my friend. So, how do you help people elevate past burnout to elevate their businesses?
Yeah, it's through the different exercises that help strengthen those principles. For example, when we're talking about the communication or social principle, it's really looking at our one-on-one communication skills and like how are we developing our connections? Are we developing better relationships that can help lead to referrals for different coaching clients or for like speaking gigs? And then really making sure that we look at our team triangle as a framework that I use to shine some light and awareness to who are our coaches and mentors, who are the captains on our team that we can lean on, and then who's the crowd that surrounds us that is always cheering us on and motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, I'm a big believer in the power of social capital and building relationships. I think it's the heartbeat of any business that you run. And I'm curious to get your thoughts on the principles or practices to follow to build great social relationships because that's the key to any business, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think it really starts because a lot of people oftentimes they go to a lot of networking events and they're looking to sell, 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 sell. They're looking to get as many clients as they can, or at least conversations to get towards clients at networking events. I take the approach of looking to develop relationships, going to these networking events and seeing who here can be a good friend of mine, who here would I like to just hang out with in general. When you go into these different situations and networking events with that kind of mindset, it takes a lot of the stress and pressure off. And if you know your stuff and you've got your business tightened up, all it is really connecting and developing those relationships. And that takes a little bit of work. So I like to make sure that I'm constantly checking in and showing appreciation to a lot of my friends and family. And then from there, having conversations and meals and dinners and things like that. And whenever I'm having conversations and talking with people, I try to first seek what they've got going on. What kind of projects are they working on? What's going on in their lives? How's their family doing? And then from there, asking if there's anything that I can help with and being genuine with it too, because when you genuinely show up to care and you are actually listening to other individuals and hearing the problems that they're going through, and you can provide some sort of solution, these individuals are going to be way more likely to refer business or refer other individuals to you down the road. And like you said, like communication and connections is the lifeblood of all businesses. So if you're not showing up and if you're not a great person deep down, then you're not going to get that much results in your business. You got to be able to put others first and you got to look at it through their lenses.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. And to that point, Rob, I'm sure you would agree that being a great listener is the first key to closing a deal in any business. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because when you're listening, a lot of times people are thinking about what they want to say next without actually listening. And I like to play like little games to help myself practice getting better at listening because there are plenty of times where I catch myself doing the same thing where I'm thinking about the next thing I want to say. So sometimes a little game, fun game I like to play is to try to slow down my thought process and listen to what they're saying, and whatever is the last letter of the word that they said in their sentence, that's what I'm going to start my next sentence with. So if someone says, "How are you doing today?" the last letter would be a Y in today. So then I would say, "Yesterday was great, but today's even better because I'm having this great conversation with you, Kevin."
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, I'm also curious to ask you, how do you think entrepreneurs can thrive through adversity, my friend? Because no matter how successful you are in business, adversity, it's not immune. It's going to strike all entrepreneurs, right? So how can we use adversity as a learning experience to ultimately become a competitive advantage in your view? What are your thoughts there?
I think building your resilience really is going to be the key there because, like you said, there's going to be adversity at every turn, and the better you are, the stronger you are to like handle the adversity that comes at you, the better you're going to be in business. And you get better at handling adversity by expanding your comfort zone and being able to roll with the punches. So building that strength in the physical world by going to the gym, eating right, training yourself through different stressors, and then also in the mental game too. So making sure that you're constantly trying to learn new hobbies, new skills, areas that make you uncomfortable. Doing things that make you uncomfortable builds your resilience and expands your comfort zone. So when life does throw that stuff at you, you can handle it with ease.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, by trade, I went to school to become a sports reporter. And the first lesson they teach you in journalism school is once you lose your name and integrity, you really don't have much to stand on. And I've taken that sort of a mantra or approach as a public speaker. And I'm curious to ask you about optimizing your self image for either your future in business or connecting it to how you can really be a pioneer in your field. So how are reputation and self-image sort of interconnected in your view?
Yeah, reputation and self-image. It's like it's like you said, it's who you are, and that's really what you have at the end of the day. Because people do business with you because of your reputation. It's very rare does anybody ever do business with somebody that they know nothing about. Because like going back to like the old adage of marketing, that you need your clients need to know, like, and trust you. So if you don't have a reputation, or if you don't have a personal brand, or if you don't have any kind of uniqueness to you, it's going to make it very difficult for people to know you. It's going to make it harder for them to like you, and it's going to be impossible for them to trust you because if they want to give you money for your service or your product or whatever it's going on, they need to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah, and Rob, what do you think it means to lead with authenticity, either as a corporate or business leader? What does that mean to you?
I think it's really just being unique and sticking to yourself and letting yourself kind of shine through. I oftentimes help a lot of individuals kind of find their uniqueness. I go through this whole flag acronym with individuals, helping them really identify their values, their specific lifestyle traits that make them unique, define their aspirations and goals, and really bring awareness to their strengths and opportunities to grow. Because once you have the better understanding of yourself and you have that higher level of self-awareness, then you can lean into your authenticity, and that's what makes you different from everybody else. Like I was just speaking with somebody recently on leadership coaching, and if you're an individual and you want to share and you want to grow your leadership coaching business, how do you differentiate yourself from everybody else? Leadership is pretty straightforward. It's been around for a long time. And then you need to authentically show up for yourself so that you can attract your ideal clients because they're going to be attracted to you for your uniqueness.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, what do you think it means to have ambition as an entrepreneur? And then secondarily, I'm curious to ask you about internal motivation as an entrepreneur, because if you're not internally motivated as an entrepreneur, people aren't going to knock on your door and know that you're out there, my friend. So how do you think ambition and internal motivation are interconnected?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody needs to have some, in entrepreneurship, you're going to need to have some degree of ambition and motivation. And going back to the whole awareness thing, like everybody has these different drives. Motivation comes and goes just like the weather. Like today, for example, it's rainy and gloomy out. Tomorrow it might be sunny and warm, and it changes constantly. But motivation, you can't rely on motivation to get things done. You need to rely on your drivers and your discipline. And to be an entrepreneur, you need to seek some sort of a challenge. You got to have that drive in you. For example, my girlfriend, her drives or motivational drives, she's a big unity drive and also security drive. So she likes to connect with a lot of individuals, but she also needs to have a certain level of security for her job. So she's got a very cushy job where she works 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people embrace it and thrive under that aspect. But for myself, that would drive me insane because it's too rigid. I need a little bit of challenge. I need that adversity. My main drivers are adversity, achievement, and unity. So I really like to embrace challenge, which every day in entrepreneurship is a challenge to a certain degree. I also love achievement. So setting goals and checking the scoreboard and accomplishing different things really continues to motivate me. And then unity, doing these great things with others really brings it to another level. And that's what really how I found myself in my profession because it encompasses all those things. So every single day I'm hit with more ambition and drive because I'm doing the same things that motivate me on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, tell me, what do you think is the key to creating a great organizational culture?
I think one, it's like understanding what it is you're trying to achieve. So understanding where you're going and then setting things up from there. Like how things are going to flow, making sure that communication between the team and the organization is on point. Because without communication, it's going to be very impossible to get things done inside the business and outside the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, selfishly, I'm going to ask you a personal question that benefits me. So Rob, I was born with spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy. Simply means that I don't have enough oxygen to walk normally. And I found out at the age of 9, buddy, that I wouldn't be able to walk for the duration of my life because of the severity of my disability. So one of my professional passions is talking to business leaders as a professional speaker about the importance of hiring folks with disabilities because when I graduated college almost 15 years ago, Rob, I was rejected by 10 consecutive news directors who told me at the time I was qualified for the job, but because of my disability, they refused to hire me, and I've worked throughout my professional life to help break down, attitudinal barriers to hiring folks with disabilities. So I'm curious, what sort of competitive advantage do you think people with disabilities can bring to the workforce, and how can we change that attitudinal barrier to hiring, in your opinion?
Well, I think advantage that those with disabilities might be able to bring is additional perspective and connection, I think, with the community and different connections and really looking at it through the different lenses of adversity and challenge. And that brings that uniqueness to the organization. And what was the second part of your question?
Yeah, I was just curious. How do you think we can work with employers or people in corporate leadership to change their attitudinal barrier to hiring folks with disabilities?
Yeah, I think bringing additional creativity, figuring out new ways to bring people together, and really decreasing the not making it so uncommon, bringing it like desensitizing everybody to different disabilities, and really connecting and growing together, and showing that we're all human. So making sure that we're sharing and connecting and showing our strengths.
Yeah, one thing I tell employers that is that people with disabilities, they have to pay taxes too, right? So they need to
Yeah,
work, right?
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, my friend, I'm curious to ask you about the social responsibility of today's entrepreneur in terms of moving the needle of societal progress forward. What role do you see today's entrepreneur playing in that endeavor? My friend, what are your thoughts there?
I think just like the general entrepreneur, I think just having the freedom and ability to kind of roll at their own kind of pace or whatever kind of projects or businesses that they're rolling. And I think they're a great way is being able to provide different supports and create opportunities for a lot of different individuals.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. And tell me, as a speaker, my friend, when you work with businesses or entrepreneurs on a one-on-one basis, what do you think is the best way to authentically connect with them? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think like going back to what we were saying earlier, I think making sure that you're listening to the individual that you're connecting with, and listening for different ways and areas that you can relate to yourself. So if somebody's talking about certain things that's like piques your interest or something that you're especially expertise in, sharing and then connecting and relating to what they're talking about. So then that helps deepen that relationship and the connection together.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, I know that this weekend is your birthday, so happy early birthday, my friend. And as you reflect on another year around the sun, my friend, what are you most hopeful for the future, and what are you most thankful for in your life, my friend?
Oh, well, thank you for the birthday wishes. And I'm really most thankful for a lot of the connections, the conversations that I've had over the years, and specifically this year. I feel like this past year, I've really had the opportunity to connect with a lot of great individuals like yourself, and it's really allowed me to expand my network and allow me to learn and see different perspectives and share insights and experiences with others because this whole year it's really broadened my understanding of this whole thing we called life is crazy, and there's a lot of ups and downs. And once you can start to embrace and learn to do it with others, it makes it so much more fun. And instead of trying to do everything on my own, this year I've been leaning in and sharing and asking for help and giving help as much as I can.
Yeah, and Rob, what do you think it means to have professional grace as an entrepreneur? And I'll qualify it this way, so many entrepreneurs are, uh, they think a million miles an hour without sort of enjoying the journey. So, what do you think it means to have professional grace as an entrepreneur?
I think I'm not too familiar with that, but I would say that it's like being able to slow down and kind of move at a comfortable speed and pace. And like I'm like everybody else, where I've got a million things on my mind at once, and it can be challenging for myself to slow things down and to take the processes instead of jumping to the reward at the end, to really just pay attention and enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, because that really is the reward. And building things and connecting and sharing experiences with others. So I think that's really kind of what it means to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, how can we turn professional sort of aspirations and goals into reality? What do you think is the process to achieving that successfully?
I think the first step is defining it. So defining what your goals and what success means to you, and then designing a plan. It doesn't need to be the perfect plan. It just needs to be a plan. So then you can begin to take action on it. And part of that plan needs to incorporate other people, communication and sharing that story, sharing your goals with people. So having conversations and sharing what you're struggling with, what you're working through, because you never know who's going to be able to connect you with somebody or be able to help provide funding or whatever it may be. So I think it's really like defining it, creating the plan, sharing the plan, and then just taking action.
Yeah, and when you talk to business audiences, Rob, I'm also curious to ask you about how much time you spend on talking about delegation, because as your business grows, of course, you can't micromanage a business all the time. So I'm curious how much time you spend talking to audiences about the importance of delegation. What would you say there, my friend?
Yeah, I think delegation is super important, and it's very difficult to delegate, especially when you're working with your project and it's kind of like your baby, your child. But the sooner that you can be comfortable with sharing and delegating, then things just start to take off. It just goes at an alarming speed. For myself, this past year, I started delegating out a lot of things for my podcast and social media, and it's really opened up my calendar and availability for a lot of other projects to take on. But then also it allows me to more freedom to spend time with those that I care about. So I'm not just constantly work, 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 work.
Yeah, I've got a trio of questions left for you, Ram. And the first of those three questions is this. When you engage with business audiences, I'm curious, when you're out in the field, what are entrepreneurs and business owners telling you about their greatest challenges and aspirations for the future? What are you talking about with business leaders these days, my friend?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of paying attention to that recently, and a lot of people are struggling with isolation, whether that's getting in front of bigger audiences or communicating or touching base with others. And so I've been working really hard to develop and get better myself at connecting with individuals and also communicating, but then also helping coach and teach and provide opportunities for people to get together to connect and collaborate, because I feel like collaboration is the new currency.
I used to work for a project called the Discoverability Network for the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, and the sort of origin of the project was telling business owners the positive benefits of hiring folks with disabilities, and one of the taglines for the project was, "We get more done with collaboration." Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. My friend, I'm curious to ask you about professional self care. I know you're off to Puerto Rico this weekend for your birthday and just for some general R&R. So tell me about the importance of professional self care and how important that is, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, just if you're not taking care of yourself professionally or personally, you can't fill up other cups. So we're talking about collaboration and how really success for business is all about connections and communicating with others, and that you really can't show up as your best self if you don't take care of yourself. So both professionally and personally, making sure that you're checking in with yourself and saying, hey, how is business going? How is this going? Am I pushing myself too hard on this area or this area? How do I clean up? Where can I take some time down? And make sure that I show up refreshed and recharged for the next adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Rob, my final question for you is this. If I turned your life into a movie, my friend, what do you think the main plot line of the movie would be? And what would you want people to think about the legacy or purpose of the movie, my friend? What are your thoughts there?
I would love for it to be like a fun, adventurous comedy, and I think the tagline would be to look good, feel good, and do great things. But more importantly, it would be to remind people to pay attention to what works for them. It's great to go out and to mimic and copy and role model your life after a lot of mentors and coaches and people that you look up to and the people that you want to be like. But it's important for you to eventually take a turn and bring your own unique spin to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And who would get the starring role, my friend? Who gets to play you? Who do you want to be in the first chair of your movie, my friend?
Well, I mean, if I can't star myself, then I would probably want to have somebody cool like Gerard Butler or like Brad Pitt or something cool like that.
And then you want 15% of the commission after they play you. Right now, I'm only kidding, but Rob, tell me if people want to get connected with you, my friend. What's the best way they can do that?
The best place to touch base with me would probably be on social media. Instagram or LinkedIn is where I'm hanging out the most. You could just find me. My handle is at Rob Tracz, Tracz, or over on my podcast. You can find that at survivingthesidehustle.com.
Fantastic, my friend. Well, I want to wish you a early happy birthday, safe travels to Puerto Rico, and I want to thank you for all the good work that you do to help entrepreneurs really maximize their fullest potential and avoid burnout. My friend, you're doing amazing work, and I want to thank you for the good work that you do and for engaging in conversation with me this afternoon. It's most appreciated.
Of course, and I appreciate you having me on today. This was a great conversation, and I appreciate you and all the work that you're putting in. So thank you so much, and thank you for those early birthday wishes.